All right, guys. So I've said this multiple times, and it's just something I have to stress about the left. Okay, the left, when it comes to the left, seeing is not believing, right? If you see something, if you experience something, even if the data points towards something being true, if it doesn't fit the leftist narrative, then they say that it doesn't exist. It's not real. Don't believe it, right? Your experience is invalid, right? Your experience is invalid, okay? And I just find it funny how for people like Joy Reid, who go out of their way to talk about white supremacy this, white supremacy that, white man this, white man that, she will do whatever she can to defend the white man, Joe Biden, right? To defend Joe Biden. They will do whatever they can to defend that administration and their failings, along with the defund the police narrative as well. Okay, because if you acknowledge that crime is going up and that crime is a problem, then the defund the police narrative falls apart. People don't want to go along with it, which is why the Biden administration is trying to act tough on crime by going after guns, and they're trying to reverse the whole defund the police narrative and put it back on the Republicans, okay, when they know they're the party of defund the police. As MSNBC host Joy Reid is now telling us that the spike in crime that we're seeing across liberal cities in America, it might not be real because her friends aren't affected. Again, she's just the gift that keeps on giving for me, okay? She just provides me so much material to talk about. All right, so let's read this article here from the Daily Wire. When the lead author of the 1619 Project said that the American people are making too much of the historic surge in violent crime, MSNBC host Joy Reid agreed, saying that none of her friends had been affected. Pulitzer Prize winning author Nikole Hannah-Jones of the 1619 Project, who just received tenure at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, began the conversation by chalking up national concerns about the mounting death tolls to media-induced hysteria. Maybe I should do a video about UNC, right? Considering how that's my school. They've made some very interesting moves with Nikole Hannah-Jones and some of the things that the student body president has been saying. Maybe I might do a video about that. She tweeted an ABC news story that numbers of Americans seeing crime as an extremely serious problem in the United States is at more than a 20-year high, and added, quote, given that actual crime is not at or near a 20-year high, not even close, where do you imagine these perceptions have come from? Media cannot help itself. Okay, so she's basically trying to blame the media for the perception that crime is at an all-time high. Now, my problem with this is that, okay, yes, crime may not necessarily be as bad as it was in the 90s, but a significant increase in the crime rate, that should be an issue, right? Regardless of whether or not it's at an all-time high, less crime is better than more crime, regardless of whether or not it was near all-time high or not, okay? We just want less crime. We want less murders. We want less robberies. We want less shootings. We want less violence. That's what we want. So it doesn't matter if it's near an all-time high or not. Rising crime is rising crime. We don't want to be concerned once it hits an all-time high. That's not what we actually want to be concerned. It's too late to be concerned then. Then at that point, you got to pass legislation like the crime bill that you guys should all know about, that Joe Biden was the architect of, okay, to clean up the mess. I'm trying to avoid that, right? We're trying to avoid getting to that point, okay, which is why you must acknowledge trends when you see them happening. But see, the leftists, they don't want you to be concerned about that. They want you to think that, oh, it's just Fox News fear-mongering the white people. That's what they want you to think, when it's not. And the people that really should be concerned about it are those in these liberal cities, these inner cities, whom a lot of them are, black, people of color, the same people that these people claim they care about so much. These are the people that's been affected the most. But they want us to think that it's imaginary, it's made up. And this is why I try to tell you guys, these people don't care. They don't care about so-called black people, people of color that they claim they care about so much. They don't. They care about pushing the narrative that their guy, Joe Biden, he can't do any wrong. Late Friday afternoon, Joy Reid, the host of MSNBC's The Readout, responded, "Solid inquiry. I've seen more TV stories about crime than the actual anecdotes from friends in New York City or other big cities bear out. I mean, summer is when crime always goes up, and Shark Week happens perennially despite the rarity of actual shark attacks, but it's odd for sure." So she's comparing the rarity, like how rare it is for shark attacks to happen, to crime, right? Like as if it's just non-existent, as if it's just a blimp, okay? As if it's a anomaly, okay? When it's not, right? And she tries to back this up, not by providing any stats or anything like that. She uses anecdotes, right? She says, well, my friends haven't experienced any crime. Well, Joy Reid, who are your friends, right? I got some questions because my friend in New York City has told me, like, yo, this is kind of a hellhole, right? My friends have been like, yo, it's kind of not safe, right? To be on the subway systems, to be just walking around on the street. Like, this city is not safe, okay? He actually lives in the city, right? And again, I have to ask, Joy Reid, who are your friends, right? But we know who her friends are. She's a part of the media elite. She's a part of the club. So her friends live in gated communities, nice high-rise apartments in New York City that cost millions of dollars, where she's away from the crime. I think Joy Reid actually lives in D.C., so she probably lives in some nice gated suburb, probably surrounded by white folks, right? Away from the crime. Right? Away from the crime. So to her, she doesn't see it happening, even though it's affecting those people that they claim they care about so much. See, and this is why I try to say the left is so fake in regards to how much they claim they care about so-called people of color. They're so fake. They care more about protecting Joe Biden and protecting their leftist narrative, right? AKA the defund the police narrative, that we have to do this, that police should be abolished, okay? They care more about that than they do about the actual lives being lost. Just remember that. If you acknowledge that crime is rising and that it's an issue, now all of a sudden you can't come out here and talk about how systemically racist the cops are or demonize cops, because at that point you just look like somebody that's pro-crime, which that's what a lot of these people are. They are pro-crime. They're pro-chaos. They're agents of chaos. And this is why they say stuff like this. While not all crimes are up, the most violent form of crime, murder, is indeed at its highest level in more than 20 years, but the total number of homicides as well as the rate of increase year on year reached a decades-long peak in 2020. Quote, if current estimates prove accurate, 2020 witnessed the largest single-year increase in homicides in U.S. history, and 2021 is on pace to see a jump, an even higher jump, reported in New York Magazine on Thursday, the day before their Twitter exchange. The BBC analyzed statistics from the FBI and found the number of murders in 2020 exceeded those of any year this century. That amounts to more than 20,000 murders in a year for the first time since 1995, up from about 16,000 in 2019, according to Left of Center Vox.com. A criminal justice expert, Ron Roman, told Vox that last year represents the largest increase in violence we've seen since 1960, when we started collecting formal crime statistics at NORC at the University of Chicago. So, according to Joy Reid, that's all made up, right? That's just the media making it up, according to her, right? And that's why I try to tell you guys at the beginning of this video. Trends matter. When you see large increases like this isn't something you just want to ignore and just say, oh, don't worry about it. It ain't where it was in the 90s, so we don't need to do anything. I don't understand why leftists elect these people to run their cities. I don't understand. But hey, this is what you get, right? This is what you get. Soaring crime rates, right, in these liberal cities because they elect buffoons that think like Joy Reid. Worse yet, 2021 is shaping up to break last year's record in many major cities. Last month, the New York Times reported with homicides rising, cities brace for a violent summer. The Times analyzed first quarter data of crime in 2021 and saw that murders had increased 18%. Reporters noted that the FBI does not release full statistics until September, but the homicides rate in large cities were up more than 30% on average last year and up another 24% for the beginning of this year, according to criminologists. The rising crime rate threatens residents of New York City. Whether or not Reid's friends inform her of the danger, murders year to date have soared by 50% over 2 years, according to statistics from the NYPD. 12% since last year. Rapes in the Big Apple have risen 11% in 2 years and 5% since 2020. It's true that overall total crime numbers have fallen by just under 1% since last year, due to a large reduction in burglaries last year. Okay, so apparently Joy Reid's friends, like I was telling you guys, they must be living in some of the most exclusive parts of New York City where they really don't have to deal with this type of stuff, right? Again, showed you who her circle is. While she claims to care about the downtrodden and the poor, I'm pretty sure she doesn't hang around those people or associate with those people. What's true of New York City holds true nationally in this case. As of May 2021, homicides in Philadelphia were up 28% over 2020, reported the Baltimore Sun. Quote, Baltimore will either match last year's numbers or have an increase that is much lower than the national average, it seems to boast. All in all, former crime analyst Jeff Asher of the New Orleans Police Department told the Times, we are still looking at a horrific increase in violence. Meanwhile, there were 47 unprovoked shark bites globally in 2020, according to the Florida Museum of Natural History's International Shark Attack File. Given the scope and the magnitude of the U.S. murder epidemic, it seems a startlingly inexact comparison. Reid's friends may not have informed her of these statistics, which are publicly available to the point of becoming ubiquitous. But if she, as a journalist, cannot find them, as Joe Biden recently told CNN, Caitlin Collins, Reid may be in, quote, the wrong business. I agree. She is in the wrong business. And she's not a real journalist. And she's not a serious person. She's just not. She's more concerned about protecting Joe Biden's narrative, okay, than she are about the people that are being negatively impacted by this rise in crime, right? The so-called black and brown bodies that are piling up on a day-to-day basis from this spike in crime. She shows no concerns for those people. She'd rather sweep it on the rug, act like it doesn't exist, all for Joe Biden. The Democrat establishment and the woke revolutionaries on the left who swore up and down that we need to defund the police, right? She's just trying to protect those people. And people like Joy Reid are the same people that will talk about how, oh, well, all the facts lean left. We're a party of facts. And the right is just based off emotion and fear-mongering. When, literally, she's denying crime, facts, in favor of anecdotes, right? To protect a narrative. She cares more about the narrative than the actual facts in this situation. And that's the game. That's what they really care about. Their elitist circle of Democrat friends. That's what they care about. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.